Let's also welcome on board Apurva Prasad, the research analyst IT at HDFC Securities. Apurva, hi, morning. Do you expect some improvement in outlook commentary from the last quarter, especially, if we were to go by what Accenture has said for demand environment? Do you expect some optimism when Rajesh is going to speak this evening?
Yes, quite clearly. I think TCS has articulated improvement in business momentum over the past quarter or so. So I think it's quite evident with the fact, even if you're looking at the overall industry picture, there is, it suggests a marginal acceleration over the previous year. So I think TCS is pretty much mirroring that trend, and the fact that it can potentially grow at the top end of that sort of industry band, I think that augurs well for the company. Yes.
Okay, fair point. So what are your channel checks telling you about demand for BFSI vertical? Are we out of the rough patches yet or quite not?
So it's actually mixed, hearing that we're getting on the BFSI side. So while the larger banks are not really going all out in terms of discretionary spend and opening up budgets there, that's pretty much in sync with what the company has also been talking about. But a lot of mid-sized financial services companies, the discretionary spend is going up. So I think it's been a mixed bag, because if you look at TCS's commentary on BFSI versus Infosys, it sort of contradicts what's happening on BFSI space. The exact opposite is playing out in the retail and CPG vertical. So I think some of these concerns are largely pertaining the larger account, the top 10, top 20 BFSI accounts of these companies.
Okay, fair point. Apurva, you expect TCS and HCL Tech to lead the growth among Tier 1 companies. What is it that you're expecting from Infosys this Friday? Do you think they'll manage to stick by with their FY19 guidance, or do you think the concentration of growth is going to be with HCL and TCS?
Look, so I think these are going to be two stronger quarters. Historically, that's been the trend, that seasonality, usually tends to play out. So while Infosys growth may not be as strong as TCS for the current quarter, but we don't see any risk to the guidance, both on the margins, which was brought down a couple of quarter back rather, and the growth guidance. So I think that Infosys should be, I'm expecting Infosys to maintain the guidance that they had, of revenue as well as margins.
Okay, fair point. HCL Technologies, Apurva, that's going to be meeting shortly to consider a buyback. What are your expectations? Because as I see on the screen, just going by the stock price, it's keeping the street mighty excited. What are your expectations for the quantum, the pricing of the buyback? And do you expect other companies after TCS and HCL now to consider buybacks as well with the surplus cash on their books?
Sure. So I think this actually started out as a trend about a year and a half back, post the Cognizant episode, and I think most of the Indian IT companies have become more cognizant in terms of paying out and buybacks. We've seen that. So it's pretty much a follow-up of something that actually started a year and a half back. So I mean, if I have to just estimate what could potentially be the buyback for HCL Tech, it could be upwards of 3,500 crores, which is what they did the previous time, which is less than 30-35% of their prescribed limit. So I think they can probably end up doing a 4,500 crore sort of a buyback. The last time around, it was at about 17-18% premium to the price. So that's pretty much what you can expect.
And what about the mid-cap IT segment, Apurva? Because the street is going into this earnings with high expectation that mid-cap IT would do what large-cap did 2 quarters back.
Yeah, so I mean, if you see, the rally actually started with the mid-caps, followed pretty strongly by the large caps, and so even if you look at in absolute terms, I think mid caps have still done a lot better than the large cap IT. Obviously, I mean, there are a lot of company specific factors playing out for each of these mid caps. The fact that the overall at an aggregate level earnings growth is much superior to the large cap IT, puts a lot of credibility to that. So I mean, yeah, within the mid-cap space, we like L&T Technologies at these price points, and Persistent Systems. These are, I think, a couple of stocks to look at. Hexaware is also another stock that we like. I mean, It had a sharp move yesterday though, but there's also Zensar and Majesco that we like from the mid-cap IT space. So I think the overall earnings growth will be faster than the large-cap IT, primarily on the account of a much higher digital composition and a lot lower legacy share to defend.
Oh yeah, Hexaware really was the story yesterday, and especially given the contrast between how the stock moved in the cash market and what happened in F&O, it really seems like this is more a technical adjustment in nature. And it seems like there were some solid positions as well, which are getting unwound in the F&O markets and Hexaware. But Apurva, as we wind down, you know, IT has had a great run on the bourses. Do you expect more of the steam left? Or would you say that the large part of the gains are already behind us, especially when it comes to large cap IT?
Sure. So, I mean, let's put the context straight. I mean, there has been a 27-28% sort of outperformance of a large component of the overall markets, you know. So I think that's been very significant. The fact that it's been a combination of both earnings upgrade as well as PE rating, you know, again is quite comforting. The fact that with an upgrade of earnings growth and which can potentially, so I mean the sector can potentially go back to double digits, you know, that's something that, you know, we had called out earlier. So yes, in an event of further earnings upgrade, I think these valuations can certainly hold on. At this point of time, with the context that there has been a very strong rally behind, I think the upside can be modest, you know, that's the best way to put it.
Okay, good chatting with you, Apurva, and we're going to chat once some of the earnings are out and try and analyze and dissect what to do next with the IT sector. Good speaking with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.